What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Caseyville, King Self for Life Wrestling Takes. Yeah, I know y'all like, well, yep, no review. Been busy working out all night long and to handle business. Got to do what I had to do. Um, so this is not a review, but this is just me giving my little take on what I thought about the Go Home show for Dynamite. It was an okay show, but I think it could have been a little bit better. Um, Again, ladies and gentlemen, one of the biggest issues again about Tony Khan and company is the fact that Tony and them just focuses so much on the wrestling that he forgets how to tell stories. Now, I'm not finna sit up here and say that he can't tell stories, because if that was the case, I wouldn't even be watching AEW. But again, look at the ratings, 833. And I don't want to hear the excuse about NFL or NBA or whatever. I don't hear that. You got to get cast to care. And cast off, I'll just read about it, like I said, but my excitement level, despite that, I'm still looking forward to the pay-per-view. Um, it was good to see Will Hobbs win. Now, I know a lot of people's crying about the doggone spot with them holding the ladder down. I guess y'all wanted that man to paralyze himself. Now, yes, this match was spot fest heavy. And I just listened to my main guy. I know him and King Mike are very similar when it comes to how they grade AEW. They is, man, but you have to listen to them, because like I said, a lot of times they come in and even though it sounds like it's hate, it's just them just trying to give a better take or a better idea on how they would go, which makes me come to this final take that I feel that Tony Khan not only needs a writing staff, but if I'm getting him anybody to help him out, I'm getting OTRS Central Jeff, I'm getting King Mike on there, I'm getting Just Alex. Them cats are gonna be my main man Melvin Jackson. I'm getting them cats on there pronto to help this man come up with better storylines and tell these wrestlers to quit focusing on these doggone spot fests, because that's all cats be focusing on. It's either we bleed 24/7 or if it's spot fest like crazy. That's all we know how to do, just spot fest. But my main man Will Hobbs won. That's all that matters to me. So now let me talk about it. The trio situation. Oh my goodness, that's probably one of the worst storylines going right now. I mean, no effort whatsoever. And then this whole speculation about Kenny Omega and the Bucks disappearing and running into E and all this. Let me tell y'all something. I tell y'all every day. Wrestling fans, unfortunately, don't like competition. They don't. Wrestling fans would prefer one wrestling program, and that wrestling program dominates all other programs. Therefore, that wrestling program is the only wrestling program that should be allowed to be on TV. When we have this so-called alternative, well, it was an alternative, but as of late, because of the storytelling, that's been what's been causing people to really not. But you do have your hardcore people who absolutely hate this program. I mean, they want this program to be eradicated. They would love for anything, even with all the allegations that this clown Vince McMahon got right now, even with his circus behind being back in control, because he's back in control, ladies and gentlemen. That Omos versus Brock Lesnar match told you everything. And speaking of which, Brock claimed that he didn't want to go against Bray Wyatt. I guess obviously the script was Bray Wyatt was going over, and he knew that if he went against Bobby again, he was gonna lose. He didn't want to do that, so he figured, let me go ahead and let me go against Omos and let me dog Omos out, and the match gonna be over like in 2 seconds. But back to AEW. AEW's whole thing is wrestling. Speaking of which, everybody going crazy about the new Ring of Honor, which I heard is pretty good, but it just seems to be so freaking wrestling heavy. I ain't watched it yet. When I get the time, I'll watch it. But right now, my main focus is Revolution. That's my main focus. And the Go Home show could have been a whole lot better if they focused more on the stories instead of giving us all the matches. Now, one thing I'm gonna jump against Jeff. He don't like Rio now. Rio's great. Rio and Tony Storm put a great match on. I don't care. He can cry all we want with that situation. But the stories. It's all about story, man. Everything needs story. Everything. And Tony Khan trying to wear 50 million hats is not the answer. It is not the answer. I don't care how you look at it. I don't care. The wearing 50 million hats, you need to get yourself a team, bro. Get yourself a freaking team. Now, Revolution has the potential of getting cats interested in Dynamite moving forward if you do the right things. Well, let's go ahead and break down this doggone card. So, I'm starting at the bottom. Actually, I'm going to start with the weakest match on the whole show, which might mess around to be, well, the weakest story that may possibly end up turning into one of the best matches of the night. And I understand it's going to be a spot fest like crazy. The Elite versus the House of Black for the Trios Championships. Now, no story at all. It's basically of who could beat the brakes, who's afraid of the dark, and who could beat the brakes off each other in the dark. That's basically what this whole feud is about. Nothing. How do you try to tell a story in 2 weeks? It does not work. I don't care. Kenny can go on interviews, talk about he ain't interested in telling stories right now. He just want to have fun. No, man. You the man. You and your boys are the Elite. Y'all the ones that control AEW. Tony Khan might be the booker, but y'all the ones that control AEW. There is no AEW without y'all. There's Cody Rhodes, y'all basically came up with AEW. So this foolishness about you just want to have wrestling matches and not care about the story. No, man, we need a story. And the fact that the House of Black just been there just to be there, ain't done nothing. They ain't won no big pay-per-view match. It almost make me want to see them actually get this thing done. So the favorite should be the Elite because there has no story. With all the speculation about FTR clowning online, you got Dax running his mouth talking about he can't wait to go back to the E. Cash is just sitting there agreeing everything with it. And then you got Mr. Clobberentine himself, who been so-called, quote-unquote, maybe exonerated because remember they was talking about buying his doggone contract out and all that mess. I think they're going to pull up. And I believe their feud does not need the titles. Everything that took place at that media scrum can be transferred into a doggone story. And this could potentially be the most intriguing thing that can quote unquote get AEW back to being good graces with a lot of people. Because there's a lot of folk that's ready to just give up on Listen, let me tell you something. I've never seen the morale of AEW fandom just die like 1, 2, 3. There's still the ones who are hanging in there. They're hanging in there like myself. But it's a lot of people that's really like they just want this company to just not exist anymore, and they hoping it's like they pray for the downfall of Tony Khan. I see it online. I hear it online. It's everywhere, and stuff like this when they put forth no effort in the story, it's like you're not really helping yourself. You're not. But the situation with the media scrum and all that crazy stuff can play out on television if they play their cards right. And you started at Revolution. CM Punk, FTR return, and they cost the Elite the championships. And now we can start a true storyline with the Elite. And then you move the House of Black on and let them run through everybody. Build them up as a dominant trios. Give those trios championships. Make them belts feel like they matter. Shout out to my main man Melvin. Melvin said it. They should have put the titles on the House of Black. Anytime you introduce titles, put them on the heels first. At all times. Put them on the heels. So the babyface can go for the chase. But they decided to throw them on the doggone Elite because they quote unquote got in trouble and all this crazy stuff. I'm like, no, man. No. But I could be wrong. The Elite can end up retaining. And it's just that. And the House of Black could be looking relevant as usual. So next match, Chris Jericho versus Ricky Starks. This story had something, but you already know. You know, anytime you get caught up in a feud with Jericho, you know the thing gonna go on forever. And unfortunately, Ricky's got to lose because the whole point is the JAS is banned. So how the heck is Chris Jericho gonna beat Ricky? Ricky really didn't even need this rematch because he already beat the man. This is Chris Jericho wanted this match, but. Let me tell y'all something. They already signed the name in. It sounds like Big Show gonna join that man. So Big Show is gonna be the reason why. Oh, my bad. Paul White Paul Wright is going to be the reason why Ricky Starks lose. So, that's that. Let's see. Texas Death Match. Moxley versus Hangman Page. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I was Team Hangman the whole time, but regardless of that, anybody could win this match. Now, again, if Moxley didn't bleed all the time, man, I'm telling you, I would be looking more forward to this match. I'm looking more forward to the results on who's going to win more so than the match itself. I know the match is going to be an insane, crazy match, but all the bleeding that Moxley be doing, it just turns me off from the said match because that's all Moxley know how to do. And I know he does it because he knows it ticks so many of us off. Listen to my hardcore John Moxley fans. Do not get mad at me. I like Moxley too. I'm a Moxley head myself, but I'm a realist when it comes to John Moxley. This fool does not need to bleed all the freaking time. This clown bleeds so freaking much. It just be like, man, then you be wondering. I tell you all the time, blood in wrestling is a thing. It should be in there, but when you do it so freaking much, it just kills its mystique. It destroys its mystique. It's like, what's the point of the mystique? What's the point? There is no mystique because cats bleed 24/7. I'm serious. Like, I'm like, man, like, come on, man. Like, really? Like, for real? So, I'm going to go Hangman unless some other foolishness happen because Moxley need a doggone break. We need Moxley to disappear. He need to go take his vacation that he's been promised, but go take it, disappear. This would be the match. Hangman, send this man out unless some other foolishness happen where we seen my main man, Evil Uno's tag team partner. I forgot his name. The one who used to be in the Dark Order. I ain't seen him forever. He made some kind of tweet last week. It made me think maybe he gonna pull up or something. But I'm gonna take Hangman and them to win. So could be wrong on that one. So Christian Cage versus Jungle Boy. Now this was probably one of the biggest highlights of the night. Christian Cage with an open microphone cut one of the best promos I've ever seen him do in a long time. Man, let me tell y'all something. Both Edge and Christian are both past their primes, yet they are both dominating in today's wrestling right now. Edge is on his last leg out here still putting on good matches with his folk and keeping cats interested. Meanwhile, Christian Cage over here just talking his behind off like, man. I knew Christian was good on the mic, but my goodness, man. Playing his role perfectly. So, Jungle Boy did some segment where he was digging a grave and all this stuff. Apparently, their match is going to be a no-holds-bar. Hey, I'm taking Jungle Boy to win unless Luchasaurus retires. Christian made some comment about, you've been running around here talking about you want to win the title. Do you want to be the guy to beat the guy with the championship, or do you want to have the championship? He said something like that. So, this is just about elevation. That's all this is. So, yeah, I'm taking Jungle Boy. So now we move on to the title matches. Samoa Joe versus Wardlow. Well, Wardlow was the biggest babyface in AEW at the time during the MJF situation. And Tony Khan completely just cooled him off. Wardlow does not need to win this. He doesn't. Samoa Joe is going to walk out. And we're going to set up Samoa Joe versus Will Hobbs next week. Now, here's the deal. I wouldn't set that match up this fast. I wouldn't. Let me tell y'all something. Because a lot of people be talking about Will Hobbs and everything. Listen, man. I still feel like in a year or two, Will Hobbs will win that main title. It's going to happen. But I just want them to give us more of a story. Like, he won the doggone Face of the Revolution ring, the Sonic the Hedgehog ring. He won that, right? Now, I want to build up him potentially taking that title off Samoa Joe. But I don't want him to, because you know what's going to happen. Like I said, it would. Like, here's the deal. Because it seemed like Tony Khan and them be flip-flopping on which way cats are going. Because we know Hobbs was being presented as a heel, but that 49er crowd out there in San Francisco, you know that's his backyard because he's from the Bay. He got the babyface reaction. So, I don't know. I have no idea. You know, like, I don't know. But I got Samoa Joe retaining. Samoa Joe got this on lock. Makes no sense for him not to win. I mean, it makes none. Like I said, Warlow needs to be rebuilt back up, and then he can go after MJF. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. Before I talk, because I want to talk about what match I want to talk about. Okay, we want to talk about this match right here. So, Fatal 4-Way for the AEW Tag Team titles. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this should have just been the Guns versus the Acclaim, because that was what the story was. And I understand the reason why Tony Khan went this route is because all four of these groups have some type of feud against each other. I get it. This is Tony Khan figuring, let me try to get everybody and their mama on the show. You do not need to have everybody and their mama's mama on the show. You just don't, man. It makes no sense, dude. I'm telling you. Cats, listen, your story need to be important in order to get on a doggone pay-per-view. The story was the Guns versus the Acclaim. And then, if they are returning, you could set up the feud between FTR and the Guns. So FTR and them would be messing around. They would be in two different storylines at one time. They would be with CM Punk and them, and they would be going after the Guns, because I mean it makes absolutely no sense for Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett to win. And the only reason OC and Danhausen in this thing is because quote unquote Chucky T and Trent quote unquote got injured, which is I don't know if it's story related or not, but this is basically, hey, let me make sure I get OC on the show. OC has been putting in work. He been having good matches with everybody. I mean, he had the match with Big Bill. I see people talking about the whole David versus Goliath scenario. You got to be able to build your big man right. You had to. If you could build your big man right, that scenario will actually be a pretty solid scenario. But you got to build your big man right. You had to, you know. The Guns are retaining. It's no question. The Guns are retaining. It's no question. None whatsoever. I got the Guns winning. Easy. And then FTR come out and they confront them. And then wherever they plan on building that situation up, that's when FTR returns and they win those tag team titles. Now let's go ahead and talk about the women's match. So people crying about this. People have been saying there's no story here. People have been fighting with Saraya online. I mean, a couple of days ago, Saraya was trending. She was trending because of that young lady named Taryn going back and forth with her over the fact that the girl just asked, is there any good coffee shops in San Francisco? And that young lady had her blocked over a year ago, and she unblocked it just to call her stupid. Listen, man, I understand. Saraya is in a relationship with a clown that's a clown. I'm not even talking about why he's a clown, but he's a clown, according to what everybody said. And she was up there backing him up. And so a lot of people say, well, if he like that, then you like that too. So that's why a lot of people really don't rock with her. But so many people, they be wishing death on her. They be wanting her to get paralyzed. I mean, to me, it's just messed up. So she already got the heat on her. Ruby Soho, everybody been wondering, when the heck is Ruby Soho gonna finally get her moment? Everybody, when is she gonna get her moment? When is she gonna rise? This whole storyline is who's on whose side. Nobody knows nothing. We don't know anything. This is the story. This matchup is supposed to kick off us heading into Blood and Guts. Now, Blood and Guts, I'm not sure exactly when that's gonna be, but that's where we're gonna be heading to. So, and Jamie as the champ, she got her so-called partner Britt Baker over there, who just been eyeballing that thing forever. So, with all this said and done, with everything's been going on, Jamie should retain, but ladies and gentlemen, we need the female Blood and Guts story to kick off. How do you get heat? How do you get true heat? I'm not talking about the go away heat that Saraya has right now, but how do you get true heat and feel some kind of way about the whole thing? Ladies and gentlemen, I think Tony Khan might have to pull the trigger, and I know, I understand it. I know fools will be crying. People going to be upset. People going to be mad. I don't give a crap. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going with Saraya to walk out with that title, and the whole entire audience is going to be crying. The IWC going to be crying, and I'm going to be sitting up here laughing because I'm like, y'all fools understand. This is what's going to kick off the Blood and Guts storyline. This right here. I'm going to take Saraya to do it. Saraya's going to win it. Now, how the heck did she win it? Britt Baker officially turns on Jamie. It is over. It's over. Britt said, if I can't have that championship, nobody in my clique gonna have that title. I'm about to make sure that Sarir walks out with that thing. Now, I could be totally wrong, and Ruby can end up winning that thing. But I'm going with Sarir to win so we can get this blood and gut situation going. So let's see. I believe I went through every matchup. And knowing Tony Khan, since Rampage is live, you know we're going to have a match or two on 0 Hour, which I don't want. I don't want it. What he needs to do is just go with this. You got your 8 matches. Call it a freaking day. Call it a day. So we got the main event, MJF versus Bryan Danielson in a 60-minute Iron Man match. Now, a lot of people have been iffy on this, but based on how last night's episode finished, Bryan Danielson basically told MJF, you the one that hate me. You call me the evil guy. Yet you're jealous that you're not married. You're jealous that you ain't got no kids. You're jealous that I've had a successful career and you just been some Joe Schmo from Long Island. Let me tell you something. When you get in the ring with me, you got to last 60 minutes because I'm walking out with that championship. He sealed it. That was the name of the game. MJF ain't had to say nothing. MJF didn't have to say nothing. This was the last little bit for them to get people to buy this pay-per-view. And based off of that interaction right there, it makes you want to see Bryan win. Bryan gonna make MJF look like the best wrestler on the planet. He gonna make that man look like the man. But I'm telling you right now, MJF is gonna find some kind of screw job way to win. It's gonna happen. And I believe that this is what's going to put Bryan. I don't know if Bryan going to find a way to get off TV or whatever, but this is what MJF is about to be made out to be one of the best wrestlers on the planet. Salute to Bryan Danielson. Salute to BD. So, ladies and gentlemen, I done gave you my honest predictions on what's going to happen. My bad for not coming on doing a review for the show. But like I said, as you can hear what I said, it was a okay go home show, but like I said, man, certain things you don't want to do. The name of the game is you want to get cats hyped for your pay-per-view. You want people to be like, oh man, I can't wait for this pay-per-view. You want everything to be lined up. You don't want to just be throwing stuff at the wall and hoping it stick. You don't want to do that. But for me, I can't wait for the show. Even regardless of the lackluster episode we got, I'm still looking forward to this pay-per-view. Notice TK somehow magically just make sure that the pay-per-views be on point, even when the storytelling be very lackluster. But I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that you're trying to book 2 different shows at one time. You got the Ring of Honor stuff going on, and then you got this right here. Keep cats interested. You got an opportunity on Sunday night to keep cats wanting to tune in to Dynamite. That is the name of the game. All 8 of these matches have the potential of being show stealers if you allow everybody to do work, if you allow people to tell stories, if you get cats with decent characters that make sense, you got the potential of having a good show. You just have to. Again, storytelling is the key. I'm going to keep saying this over and over and over again. Ladies and gentlemen, is there anything else? Sonya Deville got caught up, apparently. So I think she was in a state where I guess you needed to. Now, obviously she has a permit to hold a gun, but I guess this state was not going, so obviously she got arrested. So y'all remember what happened a couple years ago when her and Mandy Rose dude broke into their house and almost tried to kill him, but they took his behind out. So ever since then she said, I got a concealed carry weapon. I'm not finna be on no bull job. You know what I'm saying? I ain't playing with these fools. So like I said, that's the situation. Is there anything else I need to speak on? No. So I will do my best to come back, try to talk about SmackDown, try to talk about Rampage, but this is my official review for the show. Official predictions for the show. If there's any other matches that get added, if 0 Hour gets added, then I'll talk about 0 Hour on my review for Rampage and SmackDown. So anyway, tell me who y'all got winning. Hit the comment section up. I'll talk to y'all cats today. I'll let you boy.